There are rumors abound now that Jim Montgomery gets a 5-year contract with the Blues 5 days after he's fired by the Bruins. And the rumors are abound because there was extension talks throughout the offseason. He was in the last year of his contract with the Bruins, and that deal didn't get done. We played the sound a few days ago of Don Sweeney saying, "Yep, we had offers on the table, and the deal just didn't get done." And there's plenty of things that you can attribute to that. I think chief among them being kind of what we highlighted yesterday, that Jim Montgomery did not get to choose his staff, and that he didn't get to decide who would get called up or sent down to the minors. Odd. Very odd that your head coach doesn't get that kind of autonomy, especially the coaching staff. Like, you didn't bring in Jim Montgomery on a pinch the way that you did with Bruce Cassidy in the middle of the season. You had a coaching search in the summer, and you went and got Jim Montgomery. And I guess they didn't trust him because he was out of the league for a few years and was coaching in college hockey and whatever. But it was all the staff that was already in place, / Jay Leach coming up from Providence to be the assistant coach. Now, that's odd. And then you start hearing that Joe Sacco had some inkling in the summer that Jim Montgomery might get fired because, hey, they don't have a contract extension here. And again, lo and behold, he gets fired. 5 days later, he's got a 5-year deal with the Blues. Just got their first win with the Blues yesterday. And it was also kind of an interesting thing from the St. Louis standpoint. They announced the firing of their coach and the hiring of a new coach in the same post, in the same memo. And a 5-year deal, that's a hefty commitment to a coach. And that, again, tells me he'll have no problem picking a staff next year, probably. And no problems with the GM. They'll be on the same page, unlike they were in Boston for basically his entire time there. And like the draft process, the free agency process, he's going to be in on that. So when did Jim Montgomery know there was interest from the Blues is what I'm wondering now. You know, was it a situation of late in the summer, he's hearing about this and he's like, yeah, but you know, I've got a good team with the Bruins this year, I think. So maybe let's revisit this. If we don't work out a contract extension, we can revisit this because either we've got a good team and I can make a run with this team, or it's not good and I'm in the last year of a contract, so I'm going to get fired. Like, I wonder how much of that played into this in the last few days here or the last few weeks when the team was mailing it in and the message had run dry and all Jim Montgomery did was stand behind the bench with his hands in his pockets. I do have sympathy for him in his time in Boston, especially at the end here, because, again, I do believe that they were not on the same page, that he did not have the power he probably should have had as the head coach, and that the GM was not going to cater free agency, nor the draft, nor his trades towards Jim Montgomery's style of play. That became pretty apparent here this season. And now, the last 2 games, the Bruins win it ugly. They win it tight. They win it with defense. They kill off a 6-on-4 for over a minute to end that game in Detroit on Saturday. Like, that is probably how the Bruins should be playing. And it just wasn't going to happen with Jim Montgomery. But, like, they knew his coaching style coming in. You know, it's not like he changed the way he coached during his tenure with the Bruins. So I have a good feeling that someone from the St. Louis Blues made their interest known, maybe even before this season, but definitely well before he got fired from the Bruins. And that's going to rub a lot of fans the wrong way. He seems like a good guy, might be a good coach, but that is going to rub a lot of fans the wrong way that we don't really, and it's going to help the Bruins in terms of their public image of, you know, we don't really care what you feel about Neely or Sweeney. Like, this is the Boston Bruins. You do your job here until you get fired or resign if you're not going to get a contract extension. But don't be mailing it in and ruining our season just because, you know, you're hearing interest from another team and that, you know, when I get fired, I'm going to be able to hop into a situation pretty quickly here. And I'm sure he was hearing that through his agent, but that stinks. That stinks. It reeks, actually, of some dysfunction in this organization. And hopefully at least Joe Sacco can get them all on the same page and play a good, structured defensive style of hockey, because that is how the Bruins are going to win. And maybe it'll be all's well that ends well, but that does feel weird and unsettling that he was able to get a job with the Blues that quickly as things were crumbling down in Boston for all of us to watch for a month. Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.